increases, because the bonus is just gonna go so far as 1 year. And so you're telling me that after 1 year, all these people is trying to leave? I don't
Hmm.
think so.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and this is what Jeremy has raised. They keep complaining, they keep saying that they want to leave, and no one leaves.
Hmm. Okay.
So it's just that they are very, very noisy,
Mm-hmm.
and and yeah, I mean, what is it they're trying to solve? Because you cannot retain everyone. That's the that's the reason. And if you're really just trying to retain them for a year and we're giving you that bonus, is because it's supposed to buy you time. So you build, I don't know, the successors, the backup plan, that you move the operations elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to have a plan. Not only that, oh, I'm afraid that they leave and I want to put something in place. Okay, yes, but what else are you doing to
Mm-hmm.
address that? Because the retention is going to end, and what is going to happen after that retention ends?
And we
You
have,
cannot come back again and tell me, oh, I need another retention.
yeah.
What is the core issue that it is making them wanting to leave, so we can address that? Is it salary?
Mm-hmm.
Then let's look at the salaries, right? And let's invest there, not just do temporal patches for them.
Right, because if I'm looking at these numbers and I did lift up those people who were in the 70s and in the 80 percentages, I lifted them up, and then my other people were at 100% or 112 or 121. Are they really leaving? Why are they leaving?
Yeah, yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
that is kind of the challenge. Obviously, we don't have this discussion with the managers. That's what Stephanie is supposed to be having.
Mm-hmm.
But we can poke around with Stephanie. Hey, but really, what is the core reason, and why do you want to do cash? I mean, why is the manager suggesting cash versus addressing the comp if the core issue is the comp?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe the answer is they don't have the money. Well, then do they have the money for the cash?
Right. Because this money is
Right.
coming from the same pool.
Exactly. Or, instead of wanting to address 30 people with a temporal spend in cash, why don't you spend in your 10 critical people that you cannot afford to leave,
Mm-hmm.
and do very good increases in salary? I mean, and that is retention itself. I mean, make that trade off. Who do you want to keep and who do you want to risk?
If these people are on the same team and you're doing an action for some of them but not for the others, does that cause a friction within the team?
In theory, they shouldn't be sharing that they
Yeah.
receive something. In theory, we know that some countries they share it very openly, right? Um, but that is part of how the manager should be selling to the employees. Why are they receiving, and that they are prepared if someone approaches them and say, why didn't I receive anything? Then they have that justification why not, right? Maybe they already pay super well, maybe they are new in the role, maybe they are not performing. I mean, it could be different reasons, right? But the reality is, when we do retention, we don't do it for all the team.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do a trade-offs, and it's what we always say to the managers. You have to differentiate who is your top performance, your high impacts,
Mm-hmm.
and who realities you can afford them to leave, right? That it is not going to hit you as hard at it as if someone else leaves. And that is the differentiation we ask them to do.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it makes sense. You need the whole team sometimes. And yeah, we have some exceptions when we put some salary, some bonus on the mix. Yeah, we also do that, but it's very particular, right? Why do you need the whole team? Oh, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, because we're doing transition of X process, and the workload, whatever, we need them all the next 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very clear the reasoning behind it, not just, oh, I think they're gonna leave. Yeah, but what?
Right, right. Okay, and then
Yeah.
so then my next question to you is, when you're doing these exercises, how do you look at the pay segment to influence your decisions for your recommendation?
I normally don't. I normally just look at comparison.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I keep saying that 80% is not a target, but since we know that for managers and some business, 80% is like, going through a gap.
Mm-hmm.
You can recommend, okay, let me see that with increases, everyone goes above 80%. comparison, right? Or I know they're very noisy. I know they want to get to a better position against the midpoint. So let's see, or let's model getting everyone at least to 90% comparison. How that looks like. So I guide myself more by comparison than by pay segment. We put it in there because if you make a chart and you can show how the pay curve is moving, that helps you send a good message and sell it to the teams, right? Okay, you are investing 100K US dollars, and this is how your pay curve looks, that it is moving closer to the midpoint. So I see it for two different purposes. One is for you, BCM, to get to a nice logic, the comparison, and then the pay segment helps you sell how that investment is helping them get to a better position and closer to midpoint.
Okay, because I've seen in most of these cases, the difference between mid of guidance and max of guidance did not result in a segment bump. So I think it's better if I use my comp ratio to kind of.
Yeah, I think it's better.
Okay. All right, so let's look now at the masters. What we did for them. So we had a couple more in this case that we needed to do. 10% increase for the masters. That 10% got everyone out of segment one, but I also saw that those that were at 85% comp ratio and above, I recommended to do 10%, but the other ones, I guess we can talk and see what Stephanie thinks about 15% salary retention bonus.
Yeah, and some of these we could even tweak individually. So for example, I see line 10. It's a master that has been 3.4 years in the role. Their comp ratio seems to be super low, 76%. For 3 years in master, that seems awfully low. So I think 10% as a base is a good approach, but perhaps this we could push, right? And also it's a female, so perhaps we could recommend 15%, just because the length seems odd. Because if you see line 4, Nigor has doubled the time, but they're still very close to each other.
This guy right here. Yeah.
So I mean, that is where we could tweak it a little bit, or why Nigor is still there after 6 years. Perhaps there's some background, and that is where we challenge the manager. Well, you haven't done anything for these people in this past few years. Why do you want to retain them now? But again, that is discussions that we have with the Stefan.
Okay. And okay, so I'll play with those numbers, and then finally let's look at our manager 2. So she, I was assuming, is the manager of all of these people, and she also had a comp ratio of 74%. So I recommended a 15% for Raluca, a 15% increase, and that was top of guidance. It gets her to 84%. Do you think it's enough?
Yeah, I think it's enough because it seems she has only been 1 year in the level. So for a 1 year, it's fine. I don't see much issue.
Okay.
And if you're doing 50% for MG2 and you want to align it, you could also say masters 15%, or up to 15%. That could be tweaked, just because the level is similar. I mean, on our side, we know that it is technically a demotion, but
yeah, and 17, and then I've just played with the number. 17% got her to 86%, but I think 15% was okay for this exercise. We'll see what Stephanie says.
Yeah, let's see what Stephanie says. And what I would recommend, do you have your extra columns doing calculation, or do you copy and paste from the sword?
I added an extra column over here.
calculating in there? Do you have formulas in the file?
No, I just brought it over from the store, the total.
Okay, what I'm thinking is maybe create a copy of the sheet so you can play with it and not mess what you already did.
Uh-huh.
Try putting formulas so we can do the salary change. In case, when we're talking with Stephanie, she says, "Oh, let's model right now. What if we do X% for them?" So
Mm-hmm.
either you can have it in here,
Mm.
or we can show the SOAR, right? And we can play live in the SOAR so she can see how the cost is moving
Oh,
of
okay.
those adjustments.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then I want to ask as well, same thing I asked about the pay segment. How do you use the equity information to make your decisions in a group retention like this?
So for this one, we're gonna see, how well positioned they are. Where do you have the equity?
I have the unvested here and then their last equity grant here.
Okay. Do you have the targets?
Um, you mean I just calculated their, I think hold on one second, let me see what I had to calculate here. Yeah. I needed to calculate the last ARC equity as a percent of target. Yeah, I did that in this one, in this column.
Can you add one column where it shows the actual target?
Mm-hmm.
And I would also add another one that just tells you how much is you invested versus the ARC target. So for example, if the ARC target is 10,000 and they have, in their almost 17,000 in invested,
Mm-hmm.
then your invested as of target is going to be 1.7.
Mm-hmm.
We look at that because normally we consider that a 2x ARC is a healthy hold. So if you have someone that their hold is only 0.5 of target and is the MD2, we may consider, instead of giving her cash, perhaps we could look at asking for equity.
Uh-huh.
Not that we're gonna do it for everyone, but that helps us understand also, if you're telling me all these people is critical, is it aligned to how you have been rewarding them in ARC with equity or not?
Got it. And that's conversation HRBP will be having with the manager.
And that we can have, it's just, again, another highlight that, we look at their invested and their holds are looking healthy, or their holds are looking low, right? Things like that.
Got it. Because if manager is saying that they are critical, then their equity should reflect that over the years.
Yeah. Or it could be, just another recommendation that we do. We decide that we're just going to do salary and bonuses, but we may highlight to the manager and say, hey, we run the full analysis and these people are looking low in equity. If you really want to work retention, you need to recommend them and fight for them in ARC so they get a new grant.
Okay. And would these actions be happening as part of the upcoming checkpoint if we decided to go through with this?
No, that we would align. It will depend. If we're doing only cash, and let's say that, whatever, Stephanie's supportive and we're only doing cash for everyone, or, for the selected, then they're going to put the retention agreements likely September 1st, and they're going to be running until September 2024. If we do salaries and this is approved, that is what we can discuss with Stephanie. We can say, we recommend you go through checkpoint. Likely it will not. Likely they will ask for an upcycle September 1st or August 16th, depending.
Okay. Because they want, oh yeah, he said he wants to do something now. Okay.
Yeah.
And then this is kind of a basic question. If the manager, and with the understanding that he wants to do something now, if he said, hey, I would like to do this as a part of Chrome Checkpoint. He cannot communicate with his employees, hey, I'm going to do something for you in the future. They don't do that, right?
No, they shouldn't.
No, they shouldn't. Okay, that's not good practice. They should do it, do the action, and then have the conversation.
Correct. Until they have
Approval.
all changes approved
Mm-hmm.
and approved in Workday, when they actually have the statements, that's when they can have the conversations.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm gonna I'm gonna look at that equity and the targets, and then I think what I will do is I think I'm gonna, after I put some more numbers in here, is I'll just connect with you quickly on Monday, because I think Stephanie will connect with her on Tuesday.
Yeah. Yeah, and apart from that, I see column Q. I would just also add the bonus amount in USD. Well, not in USD, in local, and also what is the USD cost. That's why I'm saying that perhaps it's good to have the formulas here. So again, we can play with it and make sure that it is updating.
Okay. Just in case she wants to see a different percentage or something, we can do it.
Correct, yes, that we can model in here and she can see the full cost.
Okay. Should I make I can go ahead and add it in here for everyone just so she can see the cost, but maybe it doesn't mean everyone's gonna get it, but I can just add it in here for everyone.
Yeah, you can add it in here and we can do the recommendation, right? If and this is where you could have the scenarios that, okay, if we want to do bonus for everyone, we recommend that, I don't know, all masters and MG2, the bonus is 15%, and all experts is 10%. I'm just throwing it there.
Yeah.
And if we do that, this is the cost. If we do, looking at individual case, that this is how you have it in here, then the salary cost would be this, and the cash bonuses would be this.
Got it. If this person is the manager of all of these other people, she would have access to view everything that happened for them comp-wise as well, right?
Yes, and she's the one that is going to be communicating perhaps to some of these team members.
And her manager will be communicating with her.
Yes.
Okay. Got it. Cool.
Yeah, but play with it, put the formulas, and that will make us be ready for Stephanie.
Yeah, let's do a super quick connect on Monday to make sure that this includes everything and that I have all the correct columns and numbers and stuff.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good.
Perfect. I'm gonna work on this today. If I get stuck, I'll text you.
Yeah, just ping me.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem, thank you.
Okay, I'll talk to you later.